Hello everybody, my name's Alan and you're watching Guns, Gear, and Outdoors Alaska. Today we're going to be taking a look at this ARORY 6 to 24 power scope with a 50mm objective lens. So for the interest of full disclosure, I never heard of this company before. They reached out to me by email and said, hey, we'd like you to test out our scope, and I said sure, you can send me one. Not getting paid for this review, and I don't have any affiliate link or other relationships with the company, so you can trust you're getting a full impartial review of this bad boy. And today we're just going to go over some of the features and some of my initial impressions, what I think about the scope so far, just looking at it and reading the manual. And we're going to submerge this guy in water, do some waterproof testing, because they say this is shockproof, fog-proof, waterproof, all that good stuff. So I think the scope's pretty interesting. I'll bring you back in here closer to take a look at the features, but overall, just first impressions of the optical quality, I think it's really clear for the price point. This is definitely focused on, this is kind of a precision rifle, long range sort of scope. It's got adjustable windage and elevation, just click adjustable turning knobs and adjustable parallax, and 24 power is a pretty high upper end magnification. It's a pretty long, chunky, heavy scope. It's just under 2.5 pounds, so this thing's pretty heavy. I am also not a precision shooter, but I have used quite a few scopes and I do have some opinions about them, so hopefully my input will be useful to you guys. Let me bring you in closer and I can show you some of the details. I'll do my best to show this to you guys working behind the tripod right here, but starting from one end and going to the other. Here we got an eyepiece where there's a adjustable for focus here, and coming back to your zoom adjustment, everything's pretty normal here. You have a collar that rotates around. Like I mentioned earlier, our lowest magnification is 6, and we can crank that all the way up to 24, which is pretty good range of magnification. And like I mentioned earlier, for the price point, this is about a $250-ish scope. That optical clarity looks pretty good. I was impressed by that. And this scope is made in China, but I don't want to discount it just because of that, because even Loophole and Vortex make their lower end models that are a good value for the money in China. Hollow Sun makes their stuff in China. There are good optics coming out of China, but there's also some ones that aren't that great. So I'm not going to hold that against it. We're going to do some impartial testing on this thing. I can see there's the scope body just to give you an overall view of it. But this also did, I want to mention, come with a little knob you can put in here to make it a little easier to adjust your zoom. But let's move over to these adjustment knobs, because this is where I think have a couple complaints so far. On the left here, and I know I'm not great at focusing in on up close objects, but this is your adjustable parallax, and that goes all the way from 15 yards to 300 and up. And you do really need adjustable parallax when you're dealing with magnifications of 24 power. It just seems like a good thing to have, and I think that's a good feature for a scope of this price point and optical clarity. I just really hope it works once we get it mounted on a rifle and start testing it. So top, you have your elevation adjustment, quarter MOA clicks. You can hear it clicking right there. I'll go ahead and flash the specs for this up on the screen right now, and you can pause it if you want to read those. And for the rest of us, we'll keep going. But one complaint I have about this is there's no way to zero this where this indicator, or whatever you call it, is resting on 0. Oh, just want to mention this is MOA clicks, not what's the other one? Like I said, I'm not a long-range shooter. Mill. This scope is in MOA. But the clicks seem pretty positive. But I don't like that you can't zero this, so it's sitting on 0. There's no way to lock these, so they could get knocked around. So you're just going to have to mount this in the gun, turn it to wherever it is, and remember the number that your 0 is. And if you want to adjust on the fly, adjust from there. and return back to your zero wherever it's at. And the windage is the same. You can dial left and right, but like I mentioned before, from what it says in the manual and what I see here, there's no way to zero it to where you got it dialed in and it's resting on zero and you can make your adjustments from there. You just have to adjust it to wherever you are. Remember where it is. And then if you want to dial windage, do it here. Also, you can't lock this turret either. But should work fine for a range scope, but if you're out hunting or using this in the field in a situation where it really matters, I think you'd really want to be able to lock these things and be able to have them setting on zero to move from there. Working our way up, everything seems to be a pretty decent quality so far. Nice tube. Does come with a sunshade. I don't have that out here right now, but that is another thing that this came with. And I'll try to show you the reticle on this, but I'm not sure how well it'll show up on camera. I'm not sure I'm gonna get this to work for you guys to see, but I'll go ahead and flash up a picture of what the reticle looks like on the screen for you guys now. And I do want to mention this is a first focal plane optic, so your mil dot or your MOA dots inside the reticle are going to be true at any magnification, and as you zoom in, the reticle will look larger. All right, it's time for the moment of truth. I'm just going to put this guy, whole scope, down in a bucket of water, and we'll wait a while, see what happens. This scope is so long it doesn't really fit all the way in my bucket. I'm going to add a little more water just to make sure I'm covering those knobs, get some on the lenses. I'm going to leave this here a while, come back, flip it, and then we'll see what happens. Hopefully it holds up. Our scope has been submerged for about a half an hour now. Let's go ahead and pull it out. And there's water sitting up there. And I'm gonna look through, see if any water got into the tube. That still looks good, clear. Everything's still getting strong clicks. All the knobs are still moving. And most importantly, it didn't fog up and there's no water that I can see inside the scope. Still crystal clear. And the optical quality on this thing for the price point is really good. So the next test will be just to put this thing in a rifle, make sure our adjustments all work, make sure it holds zero when it gets knocked around a little bit, and that our parallax knobs and focuses and everything work. I'm not willing to endorse this yet because we haven't gotten a rifle and really put it to the test, but it is waterproof, and I'm looking forward to doing more testing on it. I think it's showing promise so far. Hope you guys liked the video. I don't usually do kind of box opening or tabletop sort of stuff very often, but let me know if that's something you like or dislike. Like and subscribe if you think I deserve it, and thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good one. Yeah, one more try to let you guys look through. There's some water droplets on the eyepiece lens itself, but yep, still clear. Good to go.